Tulsa Tempo podcast. We're coming to you from Blue Couch Studio, which is right across the street from the church studio, where we just enjoyed the tunes at noon. Their featured guest today was Groucho, and they were gracious enough to come across the street and hang out with us. So they are our special guest today on the podcast. Hi, guys.
Hey,
Hi.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. So let's go around and introduce yourselves and tell me what instrument you play. We'll start with you.
My name is Evan. I play guitar, sometimes 3 of them.
We'll get into that.
I'm Dustin. I play guitar, keys, and I'm a vocalist. And sometimes Evan plays bass. That's worth mentioning.
Sometimes I do.
Sometimes you play drums too.
Yeah,
that's true.
That did happen, yeah.
True. Yeah.
My name's Royce. I play the drums, and I sometimes play guitar
There you go.
as well.
Yes.
Nice. So is this the first time you guys played the tunes at noon?
Actually, I think we were one of the earlier guests, like back, when they
Beginning
did
of
it.
this
This was they asked us to do this, and it seemed like, oh, that's a year from now, but now it's today. So it's been a while.
Okay. Yeah. Did you play outside or did you?
We did,
play
yeah.
Yeah. So what did you think of the crowd today? We had all this little bit of rain and.
I thrive in chaos, personally. It's what's happening. So I enjoyed it. If I'm
Absolutely.
honest,
I mean, it couldn't have gone any better,
3 guitars later.
Rain, 3 guitars,
Evan is so good that he broke
I just-
3 guitars in a row. He
3,
broke
y'all.
strings.
3.
That canopy really came in clutch.
Yeah,
That was nice.
Yeah, they're
I'm glad we got that, even though the rain stopped immediately after.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the way it goes. Yeah, definitely. So, let's talk about some songs. So, the first song that you guys played was C to C. I was digging that.
Yeah, thanks. That's an instrumental. We've released a couple different EPs. That's kind of the approach we've had. Nobody, as much as I would love it, nobody's waiting on our full album. The world just doesn't really work like that. So we would do recording sessions and then kind of put them out as EPs. And C to C is a instrumental lead-in to a song called A Minor Complex. And I think I started writing it, the riff a couple years ago. I was trying to jam it in a film score, because it's got that what's about to happen kind of vibe, right? The build up, and it never worked, but it fits with Groucho. It's better this way, and that's kind of how it develops.
And the C to C, the title was actually C to shining C, but we just abbreviated it. But it actually is a play on words because the song starts in the key of C and it lands on the key of C at the end.
Oh, cool.
So we just call it C to C. It's just an intro jam for them.
That's great. It sounded good. It sounded really, really good.
It's also good to open up with it. Sometimes it lets the sound guy kind of dial in what's about to happen. Yeah.
I really
that's smart.
I like opening with it too because it gets me kind of warmed up as well. Just playing that cool little leading intro thing.
Yeah.
It eases the listening in, very quiet.
Yeah. Did you see that bug playing for me?
If you were Obama, you would have caught it.
I'm scared he's going to hit my ear.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay. That's all I need. So, all right, so the second song that you guys played was called Pals, and I know we were talking before the show, that's an abbreviation for something, so who wants to tell?
It is an abbreviation for post-apocalyptic love song, which is how you would find it if you search for it, Spotify or YouTube. I mean, that's its official title. Okay. We end up giving all our songs nicknames instead of writing that out, and then, so that's kind of what it's called, but we've got a song called Friends, too, so it's got pals and friends.
Oh, how cool. What's the story behind Pals? How did you write that?
I wrote that in my apartment during a different time of my life. It is sort of it's the antithesis of a love song. It's the idea is like, with this person, which, was a real person, like, we're never, ever getting back together again, Taylor Swift style, So it's like, in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, we will never, like, the lyrics, my feelings for you will never move on. That is not an endearing affection thing. So it's sort of the other way around. And as opposed to trying to be, like, mean about it or anything like that, it's just kind of tongue-in-cheek and seems to be kind of I feel like I write lyrics with an element of, like, sarcasm a lot of times, instead of, I want to take serious topics, but I also don't want to take myself too seriously. So I've kind of found that, green jelly kind of, middle of the road thing, I hope. But yeah, it's one of my favorite songs to play live. I feel like there's a lot of dynamics and really kind of shows off the quiet and then the loud and that kind of stuff. So
I completely agree. I love playing that song.
Yeah, it feels good.
It's a good one.
One thing about Groucho is the project has evolved because I started the band in 2016 and we've really developed, this is like the ultimate lineup, and I've had a couple different friends that would play from time to time, but I want to actually re-record that song one day as it is now. It's just a step up, a little bit more aggressive and dynamic than the recording, but also the recording's great too. So
The recording is great.
Yeah.
It sounds like an old Western.
yeah, it's got a little spaghetti Western influence.
Little Tombstone kind of
Yeah,
vibe there.
you got it. Yeah.
So do you all contribute to the songwriting, or are you the main songwriter? How does that work with you guys?
Well, since I started off, yeah, but now I would say that if I were to bring a riff to the table, by the time we're in the room cutting it up, everyone should receive credit because, hey, well, let's try it like this. Hey, let's try it like that, or somebody else might bring a different thing in.
We recently tried 2 new songs, just based off his ideas, and they came out totally different than I think they came out totally different than if he had just written them by himself.
Yes.
And so it's a lot more collaborative now than it was when he first started the band.
That seems to be the way we're going to move forward.
Yeah.
As a collective, we are more powerful, more creative, and so that seems to And then Evan writes a lot of. The guy's a riff machine. And Royce has played. He used to play guitar. He's played guitar on some of the recordings. So. And we mentioned a little bit earlier that today we thought it was going to be in the lobby, so we were going to do like acoustic and piano, and Lane plays mandolin and stuff.
I thought you were saying you were going to bring a mandolin. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We did
Lane
that
is a
once,
very
about a month
talented
ago.
mandolin player.
Actually, no, it was October 5th at Noisetown. Groucho played as an acoustic quad, and we all switched instruments. Lane switched from bass to mandolin. Evan switched from guitar to drums. I switched from drums to guitar. And Dustin was mostly on keys and vocals. On piano,
how
like a
fun.
piano style.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
It was so fun. We've talked about recording some of our songs like that, and I think that we will sooner or later. Maybe at the church. Or
Yeah, that would be great.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, especially with those guys up there. They're top.
I think they know what they're
Top
doing.
notch.
Top
Yeah.
notch.
drawer.
Yeah, for
top
sure.
drawer. Just don't ever barge in on them during a session because I got in trouble for that last week.
Okay.
But see, if I see you guys in there, I'll have to go barging in, and then Mike will come yell at me, just
We'll
like he did last
invite
week when I
you.
saw Clayton. And Clayton says, "You're welcome," and Mike, get out of there.
You'd be invited. Absolutely.
See, Brandon, I would be invited. So, well, we're going to watch them We're going to watch a little bit of their first 2 songs, and then we're going to talk about the third song, because something goes down in that's pretty funny. You guys got to see that.
So they say it's gonna be an ice age. It's one with you. That's okay, darling. Darling. It seems my heart has grown apart blame. 'Cause everything I've known is dead and gone, but my feelings for you won't ever move on. Everything I've known is dead and gone. My feelings for you, well, they still hold strong. Well, I consider it mean that you invade my dreams. It's such a shame to sow the seams of the soul. I told you so. 'Cause everything I've known is dead and gone, but my feelings for you won't ever move on. Everything I've known is dead and gone. My feelings for you, well, they still hold strong. My feelings for you won't ever move on.
I hope you guys enjoyed that. They're pretty good. So the next song they did was called "Dazed," and this one was the how do you want to put it? The breaking of guitar
This
string
was-
number one.
This was
The number one guitar.
breaking of a string on guitar number 1.
You went through 3 today, y'all.
And that's one of my favorite songs to play too, is Dazed. It gets really powerful.
It has a heavy chorus.
Yeah, and that is not the first time I've broken the A string during that song.
He's cursed, actually.
It might
Anytime
be
we play a really cool or really big show, Evan pops a string sooner or later.
every time.
Because he's just that good.
He's so good.
Yeah, he's just
He is
that
He's an
that good.
aggressive monster.
I am.
Guitars literally fear this guy.
So how did you write Days? What's the story behind that?
I'll give you the real version, right?
Yeah,
not the
absolutely.
PC version. Man, I don't drink anymore. I used to be I was a bartender, and if you're given a quantity of fun in your lifetime, I used mine up by the time I was 25. And so Dazed was written kind of towards the end of that chaos period of my life, the throes of the ism, and the lyrics kind of talk about that. I've been drunk for days, that kind of thing. But I think that was the beginning of me recognizing that. I don't think a person on this planet exists who doesn't need some form of recovery or therapy. And truth be told, Royce was one of the guys who came into my life whenever I was really turning on the screws there. And so Dazed is definitely a self-aware song. And I think in my case, for a little while, I had kind of confused self-destruction with rebellion, because I get it, things are shit, or, it's weird. It's hard to be alive. It's hard to be a person, especially in the modern times. You're constantly, the summon machine, and, and you got to do the thing. And it's just like, And so I dealt with that for a little while through just getting hammered all the time, which is funny in a movie, but it's kind of, it was pretty rough. And, so that was the first song I think I openly wrote about that, what I was kind of dealing with. And I think it was just a way to sort of process the reality of my life at the time. And it's funny because you skip ahead to the next EP, and that entire album is about recovery, subtly at least. But yeah, that's the genesis of Dazed.
So, and how did you come into play during that time? What did you mean by that?
I am also an alcoholic, and I'm also sober. And so that's where we met, was in a recovery meeting. And we worked together towards a common goal to get sober and stay sober.
Royce was my first sponsor.
Yeah.
Dude probably helped save my life.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I knew he played music. It's really funny because one time I heard the recordings of the first Groucho album, and I met this guy, and he didn't look much like he looks now. He looked a lot worse.
Let's have a good time.
And his voice was all scratchy, and I found him hard to believe that he was the singer on this recording, because it was so very good. It's still one of my favorite albums. But I really got into it, and then I was like, if he ever gets his shit together, maybe we could play music together one day. And that exact thing happened. So,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then how did you two have been friends for a minute, right?
Yeah, I used to deal cards
Yeah.
at the Hard Rock Casino, and Evan, you chime in. That's how we met.
Yeah, I've been dealing cards for the majority of my working career now, and we were both working at the Hard Rock, and just in passing, so he's a friendly guy, funny, and we finally got around to talking, and realized we were both musicians and talking about some of our influences and stuff like that. And he showed me what he had done with Groucho up until that point. And it had been a while since I had been in a band. And once I heard, I was probably halfway through the second song he showed me, I was like, yeah, this is really cool. I want to get in on this. And here we are.
This is great.
Evan will downplay his talent. That dude is ridiculously good.
I appreciate that.
That's sweet. So, all right, so we're going to listen to a little bit of Dazed. Kind of listen to the lyrics on this. This is a good song.
Don't play the first part because I fucked up.
No, you didn't. You won't. You're
serious,
the
don't
only
play.
one that knew.
Yeah.
So, anyway, doo-doo-doo.
I've been drunk for days, so the rage to misbehave, living life like Jimmy Page. Or is it time to change? At least rearrange these habits. You still use rabbit. Cause baby blue, I'm feeling you. Making me realize these gloves are too big to fit. But that don't mean my britches are too big to sit in. It just means a square peg in the round hole.
All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that and got a little bit out of it. It's a deep song. I really like it. The last song that you guys did was Too Much, and that I'm looking at Evan because was the start of what, number 2 guitar?
This I was able to get through the majority of that song on the second guitar.
And then we had a
It
minute.
was missing a string from the start.
Yeah, I was missing a string from the start, which I didn't realize until.
Because he's that good,
He's
right?
so good.
I mean, I don't even need all the strings, y'all.
The string broke off in advance because it was scared.
Terrified.
But it was nerve-wracking, but fun. And the guys held it down. They kind of kept it laid back for me for a little bit until I was able to get in on that, and which is it's a really cool thing to be able to jam with guys like that.
And
They
rocked it from there.
they can
On
do
this
that.
one, he was swapping when we started
Yeah.
the song. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way I
And so you
remember it.
said you were going to do a little bit of a different intro,
we did a
right?
jazzy, like a
Yeah.
smooth, funky little low down, dirty little jam on it, and then I remember we kicked it up a notch
Yeah.
halfway through. Once he was ready to go, we brought it
Yeah,
all
I
back.
think it
in.
was like right at the
chorus or
first
something.
chorus, yeah, when we
Yeah.
ramped it up to full blast.
And then y'all really got going. Okay, so you guys have to see this. We're going to show you a little bit of the song, and you can see Dustin and his extra talent. They're on the stage. So, with his zero proof.
Oh, yeah,
with your
yeah.
Zero proof hiney, right?
I don't drink anymore. You guys are just getting versions of our stuff all day.
Oh,
Yesterday was my 5-year quit date.
no, really?
Yeah,
Cigarettes.
I smoke anything that gets me high, but not cigarettes. Didn't do the thing. Yeah.
I only smoke cigarettes. I'm trying to quit.
I am-
So,
You can quit.
I'm hopelessly.
that's what I'm told. I'm down to those 24/7s, though, those $5 packs. But it's kind of a shame when I walk into the store and she just kind of throws them at me. I'm like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I used to skulk into the liquor store in the morning at like 9
Yep.
a.m. They'd be like, "What are you doing?" I'd be like, "Oh, I'm about to go to sleep. I work nights." And I was like, "Nah, I've been staring at the ceiling for 4 or 5 hours waiting on you guys to open
Wait
up."
for you guys to get here. So tell me about the song Too Much. How did that come to be? Because
Well, it's funny that we're, and I actually am grateful that in an esoteric sense, the universe has provided me a vehicle to discuss some of these ideas, right? Too Much was written after I quit boozing pretty hard. That's it's right on the nose. It's exactly what you think it's about, which is recovery mindset, I think sometimes people get caught in a fantasy of tragedy because it's romantic to suffer. It is, until you've done it so long that you forget that there's a different version out there. And I think it was probably the first song I wrote kind of in full blown, a couple of years of sobriety. And because whenever I reset, I didn't even know if I was going to play music again. I just didn't, because the two things were so interlocked with me of, debauchery and I got sold that fantasy. I'm part of that generation that was like, well, this is what you do,
Yeah.
Peter Pan, never grow up
Yeah.
stuff. And, that's a lie. So I'd say Too Much really revolves around mentorship. It's about, I had people in my life that I needed value, and I needed community, and I needed mentorship. And so I found that, and I think that hopefully that kind of comes through during some of the lyrics. Or, it's about having too much, man. It's never going to be enough.
So how does it work for you when you guys play bars? I mean, is it hard for you, not to
really.
kind of get in the?
No, it used. I think right when I was fresh, like I was a couple months sober. I'd see It's Always Sunny, and I'd be like, degenerates. Who do these people think they are? And being in but the truth is, people are just searching for happiness. And this is one way to do it, and it doesn't mean everybody does it to that extreme. So from time to time, I find myself a little annoyed but I wouldn't say like resentful or difficult, you know.
Certainly not tempted to drink, though.
No, man.
Yeah,
Because-
that like lead me not into temptation, right?
Yeah.
So let's go play at a bar.
Well, the way I learned recovery, one of the things I learned was that if I have legitimate business in a location that serves alcohol, well then, go ahead and take care of my business. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm not going to stray away from what I love. I'm not going to cower in fear at the mere thought of playing a bar. That would be its own kind of hell. So the way I learned it was if I've got a show to play, I was 30 days sober and I was playing shows back in the bar where I took my last drink.
Yeah.
And it's just once the change in my mind had occurred, that's it. I'm going to stay sober and I'm going to play music regardless. So.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
He got it.
I
Yeah.
love it.
And I love music. I couldn't live without it.
Yeah.
So I can live without booze, that's for sure.
Me too. Yeah, it's
That's
definitely.
fantastic. Just like the strength of your mind to be able to do that.
Well,
I-
it took a lot of work too.
Yeah, I would say it's different then because I think and it's okay if a person's never found themselves there. A lot of people think, well, why don't you just learn how to drink like a gentleman or something? And I tried, man.
Can't
You
do
know,
that.
I have a
not how it
physical
works.
physical response to it that's overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I just don't fuck with it.
but there is a psychic change that can happen to an individual, and some people approach that through the idea of a higher power, and that's fine. Some people approach it through the idea of self-will. It's really just whatever works. But Royce is correct. And for whatever reason, when that part of my life was over, I can honestly say that I'm very fortunate. I'm coming up in like 8 years. I've never really considered drinking. I've thought of like, well, what would my life be like if I did, you know? But I've never like had that thought. The same way you're standing out at the Grand Canyon and you're like, what if I threw this baby off? It doesn't mean you're thinking about doing that. It's called the call of the void. There's an actual psychological thing. So I've experienced that. What if I swerved into traffic? What if I picked up a bottle of booze on the way home? You know what I mean? But
How hilarious would that be?
it'd be the funniest thing in
Yeah.
the world, man. But it did, for me, it just didn't. I don't know. Royce is right, and I'm grateful for that. I'll never fuck with it again because, like, man, holy shit, that's an alternate universe that I could, and I like to get weird.
And we're not kids anymore either.
No, you're not. Yeah, it doesn't sit
you'd be
well as you
sick
start
in the
getting older,
hospital right
man. It
off
gets
the
fucking
bat.
rough.
Yeah. I mean, the way they go now, I'm like, I'd be dead in a ditch, man. I'm like, I can't do that shit.
Oh yeah.
I'm old.
By the same token, we've got a couple of guys that can have a beer or two.
Yeah.
In the band.
And they're
Yeah.
good.
And they're
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
that's I
Normal.
can't do that.
Lane and Evan, they'll crack a
They'll
couple.
have a beer and, we don't resent them for it. It's just
Not even a little bit. Actually, it's sort of a sick vicariousness.
yeah.
Like,
We
Take a
watch them
shot.
watch them get a little tipsy and we'll drive back.
yeah, yeah. We were playing in Branson last weekend, or no, we ended up in Branson, but these guys, they're Lane and Evan, they had a couple, and Royce and I just drove us to the IHOP. Yeah.
Trapping his tidbits. You need to redefine a bitter existence. Obsessed with mine, a soul is screaming. You gotta get well, begging and pleading. You've never been well. Need I remind you? Last time you asked for the truth, need I remind you? You bit off a bit too much. You've never been well. Last time you asked for the truth, need I remind you? You bit off a bit too much. Too much. Wow.
So, well, thank you guys so much for being on the show.
Thanks for
today.
having us. Yeah, this is great.
I want you to do some shout outs about your side hustle,
Okay.
Noisetown.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for that. Noisetown Tulsa is a creative space that me and my business partner Mike Rodriguez opened up, and we talked about it for a little while, for a couple of years actually. You can go to like LA or New York, and people rent space by the hour. And so that's kind of what we did. It's just 3 rooms, backlined equipment, really quality stuff, Ampeg, Ledwig, drum set, and people come in by the hour and they use it for rehearsals. But then alternatively, people do a lot of private instruction out of the business. And then Mike is like a fantastic, world-class like audio engineer. He's got the accolade and all the years that it takes to train your ear and stuff like that. So we started doing recording projects and just trying to work with the community with some nearly offensively cheap rates, but it's really more or less about like getting involved. And then originally we thought, we would do a show or 2 a month, but we pretty much do about 8 right now, about two to 3 a week. And it's an all ages space. We went back and forth, should we get a beer license or not? I'm grateful that we didn't because it's just solved, and it doesn't have to evolve from like, well, now there's like, all ages, and then tonight's a 21 and up show, that kind of thing. And I don't have to deal with the headache of carding people and stuff. So we do put a lot of focus on accessibility. It's a small room. Mike and I are musicians. We want it to go smooth. We want to support the groups. It's been really full circle and beautiful to see some of the kids come in, and I'll be like, "Do you guys have merch?" And they're like, "I don't even know how to do that." So like, I'm like, "Okay, that's where you're at right now. You're like 17 years old. Yeah, your first show ever, that kind of stuff." So, but I give a lot of private instruction out of there, and I'm trying to get some more friends that will work. Evan's starting to give some private lessons, guitar lessons, and we rent the rooms out for $20 an hour for a person to teach. It's so ridiculously accessible, and they book their students, they book their clients, they book. That's it. They're renting the space off of. During the daytime. You know what I mean? Just because, but later at night, there's a lot more demand for the rehearsal rooms and stuff. So maybe 25 or 40, depending on which room they go in.
It hasn't. I mean, it in the grand scheme, it hasn't been open that long, but I can't picture my life without Noisetown. Like, just all the shows that they have there, that I've done recording myself. Like he said, I'm going to start teaching there. Some of the coolest bands that come in from out of town that, you may never have gotten the opportunity to hear will come play in Noisetown. And it's a super cool place.
It's way better to have 40 people in a small room than it is a big room. Yeah. And so, we kind of hit that. Well, I think we did it. Well, I know that we did over 100 artists that performed there in our first year.
That's amazing.
So
my gosh.
We're coming up pretty strong. I think we officially swung the door maybe last August, maybe last September.
Wow, that's impressive. That's really impressive.
I am grateful for the opportunity.
I like your hustle. That's great. So where can we find Groucho music? Give us a shout out.
Anywhere.
All your channels.
Here's something that really does help us, and this goes for any local artists at all. Follow their actual Spotify, like subscribe to their YouTube, that kind of stuff. Those metrics really matter, especially for us whenever we book a show in Denton, Texas. I can legitimately say, like, look, there are people in Denton who listen to our music. We'd love to come, and then that's a trade-off. And we have done really well. We had like a song that finally clicked over into the algorithm and stuff, and that started turning us on. I think we have like around 8,000 monthly listeners on the average.
Nice.
And you know, that's just from constantly releasing music and doing the thing and playing the game. And I mean,
Spotify,
Yep.
YouTube, Instagram, Facebook,
SoundCloud or
SoundCloud,
Bandcamp, any of that stuff. Yeah,
Bandcamp,
it should be literally everywhere.
Apple Music.
Apple Music, and TikTok.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I'm trying to play that game, but man, it sucks.
And Noisetown is on Instagram, Facebook.
No
Yeah.
TikTok.
No,
for
my
Noisetown.
girlfriend has been trying to tell me to start one, and she's probably right. I just don't have the bandwidth right now.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
feel
maybe
that.
I'll hire somebody to do that one day.
Oh yeah. Also, the app Bands in Town.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
actually
yeah.
great. Yeah,
Very
that-
cool app. We list all our shows on there,
Okay.
so you can always find them. And that links back to our streaming.
I've had people show up like in Springfield, and they were like, "Oh, that's how I knew you were coming to town," you know, because like they had that app.
Oh, the Bands in Town app.
Yeah.
Also, lastly, I want to throw this one out there. If you come to our show, and if you come up and follow our Spotify or our YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube, and show it to us, you get a free rubber duck.
We keep these little bitty baby rubber ducks at our
Little
merch
tiny baby
table.
rubber
That
ducks.
those little pink ones that you had on the table.
Yeah.
Oh, how
Yeah.
cute.
All
It
kinds.
actually-
They're all
It
variety.
actually happened on accident because it's funny. The last time we played the church studio, I forgot to bring our merch, but I also have like a vending machine company, so I just had like 500 of these little rubber ducks in my trunk. So we
What
just
in the world?
threw them on the table, and it was like, hey, listen, if you'll take a duck, but you'll follow me on Spotify or YouTube, and we ended up having more success doing that than I would have ever predicted. It's so stupid.
I love it though.
Yeah,
That's
me too.
great.
Yeah, it's fun, right?
I would cherish it. I would cherish my little duck. I have a fan. Paul Benjamin made me a fan because I'm always hot, right? And he played a gig in the summer, so he made it with his own two hands.
Yeah.
He cut his face out of it
That's awesome.
and made me a hand fan so I could fan myself.
That dude's a fantastic player, man.
Yeah, you should have seen him on Halloween. Rare form.
Yeah.
Horns.
Oh,
Smoke
that's
machine,
awesome.
everything.
I love
I'll
it.
show you some pictures. He loved it. It was.
Cool.
It was. He just gets better. I'm sorry. He's giving me
We're getting
this.
wrapped up. The cane's going to come out of the corner and pull us off while you're
He's
dead.
gonna do something. He's gonna throw something at me anyway. Okay. So, well, thank you guys so much for
Thanks for
coming
having
on the
us.
show. I really appreciate your time
Oh, yeah.
today. Thank you, and thank you for digging deep with us on your songs. I really enjoyed your performance, and I'm really glad that we got to spend some time together.
You're lucky we didn't start talking about consciousness or UFOs or something. So
We'll get there.
yeah,
Next time.
Next time. Yeah.
Yeah, next time.
All right.
And thank you all for tuning in to the Tulsa Tempo podcast, coming to you from Blue Couch Studios, right across the street from the church studio. And thank you to our sponsor, the music store at 31st and Mingo. They got everything, y'all.
The music store is not a bore.
Oh, I like that. Can I use that?
Yeah.
You can, and they've been around for 50 plus years. You can-
Okay. So we also like to thank our sponsor, the music store at 31st and Mingo. They've been in business for about 50 years, and you can go to the music store and not be bored.
It's a wrap. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.